Astroworld. I did a little Instagram live about Astroworld on Sunday, right after I did my little post-game recap of the 49ers. I've been doing that the last couple weeks. I've been having fun with it. It's not, sports journalism isn't really something that I see myself going into. It's not something I really have a career in. I just like ranting after the games. It helps me like therapize myself. But also it helps me like talk through things that I'm really thinking about because I don't have anybody at home to do that with. Like my dad doesn't understand football at a high enough level to really comprehend that. So I just kind of, and my mom does not watch football or any sports, so it's nice to really be able to talk to a phone of people who sometimes respond in the comments. So shout out to you guys that have been listening. Thank you. But I did talk a little bit about Astroworld, and I have takes about this whole event. So for those of you that don't know what happened at Astroworld, basically what happened was there was a big music festival over the weekend in Houston, headlined by a guy that most of you probably know, Travis Scott. He headlined the show. The show was packed. I think it was about 60 to 70,000 people were there. It became a madhouse when Travis Scott came on stage. Everyone was moshing. It was a big pit of individuals. But, unfortunately, it led to there was a lot of, crowding and lack of medics and lack of planning and communication, and all of these things led to this whole disaster where a lot of people were being trampled over and hurt. And it eventually led to 8 people dead. I've heard the number is upwards of 11 right now, actually dead, over 300 people injured. It was just basically a mess. Like I'm talking with the injuries, you're talking like broken feet, just people lying on the ground, sprained knee sprains, whatever, heat stroke. I don't know what like a lot of different varying injuries with this in regards to this whole situation. Astroworld, though, I mean, obviously this is a huge disaster. 300 injured, almost. Hopefully, just the 8, or like hopefully not more than the 8 passed away. Prayers, obviously, out to all the families that were affected by this whole situation. But this is crazy. Like this whole situation is insane. I was not there. I do not know any people that were there at Astroworld. But wow. I mean, this is a crazy event. Like this was crazy. I've been like, listen, but like everyone is trying to figure out like who to blame, and a lot of people have directed the blame right at Travis. Right, he's the head. He created this festival. He sent out tweets that were inciting individuals to jump over the security gates and come into the festival and really rage and all this stuff. I get it. But let's construct a blame pie for a second, if you will. So bear with me. I think there are 3 main parties at blame here with the Astroworld, with everything that happened at Astroworld. And I'm going to kind of try to do my best to concisely explain these 3. Okay. So there are 3 main parties. The first party that is definitely at response or extremely responsible for this is the event organizers. The event organizers, this does not just include Travis Scott, but there are a lot of people on the ground who ran festival logistics, who ran how people were moving, how the crowd was moving, where the medical tents were stationed, where water places are, where, how the festival ran. There were a lot of planners to this. Travis did not plan this whole thing on his own. There were a lot of festival organizers. I'm curious to see what they have to say. There's a lot of staff behind this. So festival staff / organizers, the people who are in charge of communicating / creating this whole vision definitely deserve a little bit of the blame. The second person who deserves blame is Travis. Travis 100% deserves blame for the fact that he sent out tweets, for the fact that he acted extremely unprofessionally when people were being escorted like out in ambulances and stretchers, like the whole thing. I've seen the videos, where he's standing on top of the podium and he's going, yeah, with this like auto tune. Like, you listen, like I get that he's going, yeah. And like, I can't say that I wouldn't have acted in a similar way because I could totally see him just being nervous and scared out of his mind. And he was just like humming into the microphones. I don't want to give him like too, I don't want to like berate him for that too much, but also like the fact he didn't stop the show. There's just a variety of different things that Travis, I feel like, could have done to combat against this issue. He brought out Drake, which just, further amplified the crowd. There's a lot of things about Travis that definitely messed, with the festival and the vibe. The last group of people, though, that I want to really blame and I really think are at fault here is the crowd. The crowd is 100% at fault here. And not like in terms of the blame pie, right? Okay, the crowd. When you're in a crowd, and when you go to a show, you have to have some level of consciousness. Okay, I don't give a shit like what show it is, right? I'm not saying go into the show sober. If you want to go to a show sober, all power to you. Do it. But a lot of people like to get a little lit before shows or lit at the show, and that's perfectly okay too. Go enjoy the concert. This is supposed to be an enjoyable experience where everyone is, showing love to their favorite artist and enjoying it and having an amazing time. Do whatever it is makes you comfortable. If you want to get a little lit before the festival, know your limit and know your limit to the point where you can be conscious of the way that you're moving, the way that you're interacting with other people in the crowd, and all of this stuff. You need to be conscious of that. You need to be aware of these things. And I feel like that goes it's individual people within this crowd. Okay, I'm sure there were a lot of great people in this crowd who knew their limit, who were chilling, like who were just there to have a really good time. There were some people in that crowd, I'm sure, who were a little too freaking lit and didn't know what to do when shit hit the fan and were running around and scrambling and being, all of this stuff. Limits are key. You need to be able to control your litness. Okay, that is a huge thing. Control the litness. That is the number one thing that I think the crowd is responsible for. The second thing that I think the crowd is responsible for is the fact that even when the show like continued to, people were just continuing to edge forward and push forward in the mosh pit and all this stuff. Let's chill. You got to chill. And I get that you were on drugs, maybe on alcohol, maybe just super excited to see Travis, but like, dude, dude, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. All right. It's okay. And also, I feel like should be like a PSA for all short white girls out there. This is like, honestly, for mosh pits, the group of people I'm most scared of is the group of people that like every other race is scared of, right? Like short white girls. Like I'm so scared for short white girls when it comes to mosh pits. When it comes to society, fuck white girls, right? Like they can do whatever they want, but they have all the privilege in the world. When it comes to mosh pits, like, yo, short, petite white women are the ones who literally will pass away. Okay. Like, mosh pits are not built for small people. If you're like below the height of 5'6", just don't go. Don't go into the center. Just stay on the outskirts, chill, enjoy. Do not go to the center. Do not try to push forward if you're small because you will get trampled. You will get clubbed over. You do not want to deal with that, right? That's my point. Is like just know yourself, no personal awareness, litness awareness, right? Maybe this is the one lesson that we can take from Astroworld. Maybe it took these excessive amount of deaths and injuries for us to realize that we need to have awareness. I think that's the key thing, right? The key overall takeaway for everybody in that crowd should be awareness. Awareness. Be aware of who you are, be aware of your limitations, be aware of how much alcohol and drugs you've consumed. Be aware of these things. Okay. And I certainly think that like every one of the 70,000 people should have some sort of self-awareness. It should not be like dude, like the next day, can you imagine like the guy being like, I was so lit at Astroworld Festival, dude. I was jumping on top of the police car. And it's like, dude, were you aware of anything that was going on? Like you may not have killed anyone directly or any of this stuff, but you indirectly have hurt so many people by just jumping on emergency vehicles, by climbing up towers, by going crazy. You need like when you're in a big crowd, you need to control yourself. Awareness, mindfulness. These are the things that maybe we need to remember. All I'm saying. You can disagree with me all you want, but I believe it.